Well, we know the holidays are a wonderful time of year, but they can also be stressful.
Steve Simpson says he experienced a dysfunctional upbringing, but now the young adult author is helping teens and families overcome the issues plaguing them today.
And we'd like to welcome him. Steve Simpson is here, the author of the Teenage and Young Adult Survival Handbook. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And this book is really designed to draw in that age group, that 12 to early 20s,
yeah, I would say
through a novel type.
Exactly. I came from the same background. I'm a former child of an alcoholic, abused. You heard of an A student? I was a Z student. Okay, I was the opposite of an A student. Always problems in school. It's all from my family problems. In fact, as much as I couldn't stand school then, I would rather be in school than be at home, because now by the abuser. So the handbook is everything I went through. I was suicidal, so I talk about suicide. I was abused, I talk about abuse, self-esteem. I went from a Z student to an A student. I discussed how I did that. So in the book, but if you try to hand just the handbook out to a child who's going through that, they're going to say, I don't need that. Can you imagine a teacher saying to a classroom, who here is a victim of child abuse? Who's a child of an alcoholic? Who's thinking of suicide? I have a book for you. No student's going to dare raise their hands. So what I did was, I took the Teenage and Young Adult Survival Handbook, and I put it as an insert in 4 of my fiction novels, the young adult fiction novels, like the one you have, it's the science fiction one you have now. So now a teacher could say, hey, I'm doing a really cool project. It's a book report on a science fiction story, guys, but you have to read the whole thing. Or if it's a relative, now Christmas is around the corner. So you can say, I bought you a Christmas present. I know you love this kind of stories. And you pray that while they have it, they say, what's this? And they read the second book. It's like a book within a book. And they read like an exciting movie they would see. So even people who don't have those problems love the fiction parts. Yeah. But it's the non-fiction part. In the handbook, not only discusses how I survive things, I do it in a humorous way in some aspects as well, but I also give a whole litany of different 800 numbers that they can call, websites they can go on for help as well as resources.
What led you to develop something like this? I mean, you talk about your own experience, but how did you come up with this concept to do it this way?
Because I know myself, again, when I was younger, like, again, I resisted help at first. You know, they would say, Steve, speak to a school social worker. I know what they're going to say. Like, I wouldn't bother. So this would have almost tricked me, so to speak, to have because I would have loved the science fiction part. I would have like grabbed the story and started reading it because I wrote that stuff. But I would definitely say, what's this? So it led me to know that there's so many kids in every classroom today with all these problems, and you can't get this life-saving information to them. They're not, even in college, then the stigma, they're not going to ask for it. So what led me to was like, how can we make a tool? How can we make this a way to get it in their hands without putting them on the spot or causing a confrontation?
And why is this such a difficult time for people who are going through some of these things that you cover in your book?
Because during the holidays in a dysfunctional home, an abusive home, the abuser's home more, they're more depressed, so they're drinking more, they're drugging more, and the abuse increases because most child abuse does come from alcoholism and drug abuse. So now, and as a child myself, what do you know? There's no school right now, and I'm going to be closer to the abuser. And the more time you spend with an abuser, you get abused. And it's depressing because, you know, all your friends at school are talking about what they do for their traditions and their aunts coming by, their grandmother, and you're sitting with all this yelling and abuse and going on in your household, and it's such a lonely feeling. You know, so that's what causes all those, and that's where suicide spikes. You know, running away, I also ran away as well. 2 quick numbers also to give, I should say. The suicide hotline is the 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-TALK, and I ran away. I ended up in foster care because of it. And that's 1-800-RUNAWAY. 1-800-RUNAWAY, which is the National Runaway Safe Line, which they can get a child to help or even make a phone call they don't feel comfortable making. And
so how are you able to work in the community and get these books out?
Well, a lot of schools like to come and speak at the schools as well. Shows like this. You know, I got in a plane from New York and came right here. You know, I'll stop in Disney on the way back, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, you must. Yeah.
Well, we loved having you here, and this book, again, it is called the Who Am I? And it is the Steve Simpson Teenage Young Adult Survival Handbook. And again, this handbook is right in the back, so you're arming people through a story.
Yeah, and they go to the website to get it. I should have said that. It's Power Publishing Corp, that's C-O-R-P, powerpublishingcorp.com.
All right, we'll put that information on our website as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoy Disney.
I will, I always do.